Welcome back, everybody, to Dragon Ball
Nah.
Xenoverse 2.
I like how it just pops back in just to do that.
Take two. Take two.
No, we're keeping that in. We're keeping that in. Okay.
Hello,
What's going on,
hello.
YouTube? Welcome back. We're here with another episode of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Where we will probably not talk about the game itself again.
That's good. I'm fine with that. So right now we're jumping into Dragon Ball Super territory with Universe 6 arc. I'm gonna skip all this nonsense.
Oh, the worst part of the show.
Oh, wait, the worst part of the show? You mean the series? You mean, right? The worst part of the series.
Yeah, the ending of the Zamasu arc is really bad.
Yeah, we can all agree on that. And by the
Even the
way,
people who like the show.
we made a promise. We're not going to talk about Kale and Khalifa
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're everything
Or
else.
pretty much the entire thing in a general.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at now. So everything else, the Masu arc and the Universe 6 arc, will fair game. Because honestly, I think the show got really good when they actually decided to be original for once and stop copying the movies. Because we got people like Hit, who I honestly like Hit, even though Hit became a Vegeta later and got tossed aside when Jiren showed up. But I mean, he has a cool design.
No, he actually phased Jiren, unlike Vegeta.
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused how Hit's time skip just got power crept out of nowhere. But
By that logic, Goldo should have been the most powerful character then.
but the thing is, Hit was also powerful along with stopping time. That's what made him needful. Goldo was not.
I don't know, man. I think he just had to work on holding his breath better.
Well, even when he was holding his breath, the characters were still moving at a really fast speed. So his time stop was not even that time stoppable.
And then he remembered that he's a psychic, so just keeps him in place.
Yeah, paralysis is not something we get to see very often in Dragon Ball for most characters. It's more punchy to the face. Or magic.
I don't know. I don't know. I prefer the magic.
Because magic, you don't have to explain it. It just happens.
You're bringing in outside help? No one told me
Okay, so Champa, Vados, opinion on these characters. What do you think of their inclusion into the franchise, essentially? I guess
Waste of time.
waste of time.
I wouldn't say
They're
that.
nothing.
I'd just say they're mishandled horribly. There's something there that they could exploit, but they just do not do it right.
And therefore, they're nothing characters.
Then it's settled.
Waste of time.
Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit, Jose?
Nah, he's too lazy.
Well, no, it's more the fact that basically they're being played off as a
If you can't pass the
like
exam,
Jesse and
you're
James from
ineligible.
from
It's part of the rules.
Pokemon. You know,
I think
Be
it's
real,
because
Jesse and
of
James
Wrong
get some
Zero,
still.
because they are nothing like those two.
that's how I no. I mean, like that's how I feel their characters are. Like Jesse and James, they're just basically a joke.
I kind of see where you're coming at with that though. They're there mainly to be like, haha, these guys are not. They don't have their stuff together really, compared to
Pretty much.
our side.
But the same could be said for Beerus and Whis.
Well, that's the thing, though. At least Whis and Virus actually show that they're capable of taking down the bad guy.
Well, that's because we don't really spend much time with Champa. We just know that if he fights Beerus, the universes are going to end.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as saying, it's like Jesse and James. They can capture Pikachu anytime. It's just they do this elaborated plans to capture that Pikachu. It's the same thing here with Champa. It's like you can
While we're
throw.
on that, I just want to point out that Jesse and James literally just put on a unbuttoned coat with glasses once. Their ours were still showing, and the heroes were still fooled by that.
I will argue that they're in a universe where there are more dumb people in there. than an actual real life situation. Because that type of stuff, it's like The Incredibles. Who is that? They take the mask off. It's Bob Parr. It's like, no, it's the same body build, the same face. You cannot disguise yourself with just a mask.
Mm-hmm.
All that to everybody who saw Superman. And
I'll argue it's because Superman was the first hero in the comic book hero that made an impact. So what can you expect when the writing is not as, I want to say, what's the word?
There are people who look
Nuanced?
similar to another.
Nuanced. Yeah, that's the word, I guess.
There are
There were
people
less
who
standards.
do
There were
look
less
like
standards at the time. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
there are people who look like the people you think they're gonna be looking like. So you do have to be certain. Like there's this show called Static Shock where the villains did
Oh, yeah.
consider that this guy looks strikingly like Static Shock. Maybe he
Oh,
is.
yeah.
So they kept
it was a
him
good.
locked
Static was a
up
good show.
for a whole day just to make sure. And they
Yeah,
somehow
and they
managed to
and
fail.
they had to play around that. Granted, they also went on to say it's like, a lot of people have that kind of hairstyle in their neighborhood. Like that alone is not enough. So when they monitor him, he decides to actually wait it out so it looks like he's just a normal dude. Like, okay, yeah, no, he's not him. Static Shock was amazing. I wish that kept going or something, but
They do
yeah.
have a few comics, but I don't think they really did much with it afterwards.
No, because
Actually,
Static belongs to what's it called? Was it not Dark
Warner
Horse,
Bros.
but I forget the company, but it's a company under DC.
Like I said,
So
every participant has to pass the
while
Actually-
DC can borrow the rights, they don't actually own it. So
don't have to explain.
not much
Actually-
really came of
Do
it.
I?
Actually, no. Believe it or not, they did. Static Shock is back in the show Young Justice. They actually,
Yeah. They're
Which is
borrowing
really
him.
nice. And the thing is, they're actually releasing comics of him again.
Of course I'm not.
Nice.
I heard something about that, like maybe
Hey, how
8
about
years
this?
ago.
Let's speed things up by doing tag matches.
They're doing it recently right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
that's
people-
cool.
they're doing a stream series of that, like
Hmm.
Netflix or Hulu or something.
I haven't heard anything about that, but Static was one of my favorite characters growing up.
Yeah.
He was basically Black Spider-Man before Miles Morales was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he has the powers of Magneto.
Magneto.
Shock?
Yeah,
He can if used properly, and he is smart enough to use it like that.
yeah. Like his powers is electromagnetism. Later seasons decided to give him more electricity-based abilities, just so that he could do something other than just static cling or whatever. But Static is basically just Black Magneto.
You need Magnetus.
With the Shocky Shock bonus.
Well, Magneto can do similar things. Because once again, both of their powers is electromagnetism. Magneto, most adaptations focus on the magnetism part, while Static, most sources focus on the electro. But the power is still the same.
Emphasize that he could do that by giving him that little disc to stand on.
Well, no, because like earlier seasons, he couldn't actually electrocute people unless he was directly touching them. His main source of offense was punching them while his fist was, covered in a electromagnetic force.
I'm
Or
gonna go off topic.
I think they
Moving
said that he
people.
was growing stronger over time.
Yeah, he was growing stronger, yeah, but like keep in mind that early seasons he was only limited to, he could move objects or move people and then stick them to objects. Usually some sort of metal object, but like I think it was like manipulating the magnetic field around people to move them around, to move them just like with metal objects. But yeah,
Interesting.
They were sure to emphasize that when there's metal around, he was stronger.
yeah. Like when he first tried fighting against Hot Streak, they were in a public park. So I was like, oh, there's no metal for you to hit me, to throw at me. Are you kidding me? We're in the city. There's metal everywhere. Pulls up sewage pipes from underground.
Drenches him.
Yeah. And then he found out those were sewage pipes and not just like water. I was like, oh.
Hey guys, just to be kind of on topic with like superheroes and all that. Do you guys remember that show that played on Nicktoons Network that was using the characters from the shoe brand as superheroes?
Yes.
Oh,
They didn't even advertise the shoes, they just used the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys remember? I don't remember the name, but you guys are talking about it, and just that flooded my mind right now. I was like, you know what? I haven't thought about that show.
Z something.
Yeah. I can't tell the name. I don't know the name. But the fact that it entered my mind because you guys were talking about Static Shock reminded me of another character who had a similar type of design, and also had like a shocky power.
Enough for me.
Just figured I threw that in there just because why not? I only know about Static Shock because his one cameo appearance in the the Justice League episode where they had Terry McGinnis.
Let's fight.
Yeah. Where they went to the future with the Batman Beyond timeline.
Yeah.
And then they saw Static as an old man and they recognized him.
Yeah. That and
Yeah.
They actually
Static was
had
good.
Static go to the future to see Batman Beyond, to see himself. He was
that's from the Static Show. He's talked about the episode in Justice
I know,
League.
I'm just saying that's probably how they got the.
Yeah.
It had a similar concept, so that's probably why they did it.
Basically, yeah.
Two series.
Chava looks like a child in front when he's standing next to Hit.
Champa is a child. Let's be honest.
He needs an adult.
There's short like Vegeta, and then there's Champa.
Yeah. And then there's Tarble. Nobody talks about Tarble.
I feel bad for Tarble. He was like the one character I actually enjoyed.
But he was the only one OVA that nobody talks about.
Because it's technically not canon, it was really just a bonus.
Oh, but it is canon. They reference Tarble.
A bridge does not count.
No. Not in the bridge. They referenced him in the what's it, Battle of Gods segment of Super's runtime.
Huh. They basically said, "What about the other prince, the one lost in space?"
Oh.
No. So one of the Earthlings was like, "Oh, Vegeta. What about Kaba? What about Tarble?" Sorry, I'm looking at the screen and Kaba's name was like right there.
What's the difference?
I think Bulma or somebody was like asking Vegeta, "Hey, what about Tarble? Can you call him back?" And then he's like, "No, he's somewhere off. He's somewhere like in another galaxy."
Oh, okay. So I guess he is canon. Still, the only video game appearance he's ever been in is Raging Blast 2.
That single OVA.
No, he's only been in one game. It's Raging Blast 2.
He was in Raging.
Also been in the
Wait. He's in Raging Blast 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Technically also been in Dokkan Battle, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Raging Blast 2 came out like 15 years ago.
Yeah, he was in that game.
They got pretty much.
When was the OVA that Tarble got introduced to?
That's a long time ago. Like a very long time ago. It's not recent.
I thought that was in like the last decade.
It's been.
I think it was actually before his GT.
See, when
No, it couldn't be because it had the current art style. It was Yo Son Goku and his friends.
Yeah, definitely that's the case. But like, Raging Blast 2 came out during a time when before Battle of the Gods was relevant, so they were pulling out all the niche stuff like Hatchiot and Tarble to kind of keep the games interesting. And the English voice actor for Tarble is, I think, Pitt's voice actor. If you know Pitt. Yeah, that one. Palutena Synth. But yeah, Kaba, he's been around for a while. They just don't do anything with him. As per normal when it comes to any Dragon Ball character that isn't Goku or Vegeta. So, but this guy has it worse. He's only been in one thing and nothing else. So that's what I think Kaba is here for, in terms of use. It's the Kale effect, female Broly, where they're just trying to cash in on the character design. To be like, hey guys, you remember this character? We're just gonna do it again. Oh no! Don't do this to me. Yeah. But yeah, I just realized right now Hit is not taking any damage. I have to take down Kaba before I can progress the story, because that's just how things have to work. Wait a minute, someone has Xenoverse opened up already, because I've heard that voice line before. What's up, dude? That's a generic female voice line for the create your own character. No, don't do this to me.
And one of the more common ones in the embassies.
He lost his will to fight and went home.
Okay, Kaba, you're gonna go down there. But yeah, you guys can carry on with Static Shock. I just felt like bringing that whole thing up with
I think we got everything we did from that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I was just saying how Static and Magneto have the same.
Never
They're
compare
just-
the great Static to Magneto. We all know that Static is better.
So,
Yeah.
I got a question. Oh no. Oh no. I have a question in terms of Death Battle. Do you guys not respect Death Battle anymore?
Why would we respect Death Battle at all?
There was
Their research sucks.
I'm just gonna skip to the next battle. I don't care if I lost, but no, I guess I'm retrying. I'm not gonna go through that again. But Death Battle at one point used to be, in my opinion, pretty darn good in terms of what they were doing. It's after the Goku versus Superman stuff that I realized that they weren't doing much of justice when it was coming to researching their stuff. And I'm talking about after that battle. Because I agree,
Well,
Superman
even in that one, they weren't doing very well to begin with. Their math was. Somebody pointed out that their math was actually being, done incorrectly on purpose. Like if you look at their mathematical calculations for Goku going Super Saiyan,
yeah,
they showed his his base power, and then they multiplied it and showed what it would look like in Super Saiyan. But then in Super Saiyan 2, they put it back to his base power, and then so on and so forth. Like somebody actually went and broke those down just to show how badly their calculations, quote unquote, are in a lot of their videos now. I don't have a problem with some of their earlier videos because they were dealing with much more obscure, much more easier to define characters. But once they started looking at stuff like mixing anime and like some other stuff, I'm like, oh no.
You gotta remember, they were trying to get anything they could for Goku. I mean, like, they may have messed some stuff up very plainly, but...
Well, either way, Goku would have lost to begin with, because his opponent is Superman. Like, unless you want to go with a heavily limited version of Superman just to make the fight doable, Superman's gonna win no matter what.
Yeah, because Superman is made from the time when they're like when Superman was like everyone's OC.
They weren't even using the OP version of Superman.
They were just using the other OP version of Superman, which seems like he has limitations. But
they were doing everything they could to get Goku some sort of advantage, and they just
It,
did not.
it doesn't matter though, because it's Superman.
Yeah, you're right. I don't disagree that Superman will win in a fight against Goku. It just
Like when you put Superman into a competition of like, oh well, would Superman be able to beat? Like, of course he can. He's fucking Superman.
Yeah.
You don't debate if Superman can beat a character in a fight. That's not the joy of. That's not where the joy and the crux of Superman's writing and stories come from.
Well,
Stories
that's the
come
same.
from being about the character.
Well, that's the same thing. What happened with Batman versus Spider-Man? That's what got me too, because I was just like, bruh.
Yeah, the thing
Batman.
is, Batman normally sums up his opponent, which gives him the advantage. He does not. Yeah, it's true. He needs to have some time, but under the rules of Death Battle,
Yeah.
you kind of need to have him do Batman things for him to get the advantage.
Well, even then,
Spider-Man
like,
is just that.
Spider-Man's Spider-Sense would have gotten the advantage anyway, unless Batman knew a specific way to take advantage of that. How is he going to figure that out without, like, the amount of time he would have to study and devise plans for all of the Justice League, which takes
means that Spider-Man would also have some time to prepare, and while he's not
exactly.
super
And while he wouldn't need as much time to prepare, Spider-Man is smart, and he is tactical about how he uses his abilities in fights when he knows what he's doing.
you could
No,
literally understand anything Batman says.
I wouldn't say he's smarter than Bruce, but at the end of the day, he's still
He's
Smart enough to know what
he's still a genius on par with all the greats. Yeah. Also, Spider-Man is more tech and like just science smart compared to Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a genius, but in most cases he isn't usually the one building his own devices.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
He has people for that.
Like Batman understands how the devices work and he can like work on them himself. But they're usually he's getting it from something related to his mother.
Well, that's the same thing. Like I said, Death Battle has not been that good.
Yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to get this conversation.
I'd argue about that, but I honestly don't know what they're doing anymore.
I've stopped watching their videos.
Same here. I unsubscribed from them a long time ago.
I will never subscribe.
I just wish they'd do more than just Death Battle.
That's what got all the views.
Yeah, that's why
They
Craig
had
left.
other stuff, and then they realized Death Battle was the only thing that got views, so they stopped doing all the other stuff and put all their research into that.
Why do you
And-
think
The stuff that did get some.
Oh, I was gonna say, why do you think Stuttering Craig left the channel? Because he didn't want to be doing Death Battle forever.
Yeah.
I like the top 10.
Oh yeah, the top 10.
Like-
number 10.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's it.
that
My
big
biggest
deal-
gripe with
Oh, go ahead.
with the earlier Death Battles, though, was probably the Link versus Cloud battle.
Yeah.
Not because of the results, just because of the way they framed it. Like I was listening to it, I'm like, that's not how the Triforce of Courage works.
I'm sorry.
Like
the one that really pissed me off was the Harry Potter versus Luke Skywalker.
That one.
I mean, Luke still won.
Yeah, no, but the entire point of them using fucking Abracadabra as fucking laser for him to deflect with the lightsaber is out.
Maybe Luke used the Force power for deflection.
But, you see, that's the.
Or
that's the very
There was a
point.
Force power to absorb
Where the
energy.
magic was, so that he could deflect it.
But guys, at the end of the day, the biggest flaw that Death Battle has is that majority of the fights that people look to are all situational. It's not like they can scientifically calculate how a person's gonna react to a fight to the T. That's the thing.
They have to come up with thousands of different situations.
Yeah, and you cannot account for that. Like maybe this character was didn't think that this move would work, so they don't use this attack. That type of thing. You cannot what's the word? You cannot get into their head essentially and assume they will use this attack. That's one of the reasons why I stopped really getting behind the whole deal with Death Battle, because they made all these assumptions.
Well, on that light, I want to ask you guys: have you guys ever watched Deadliest Warrior?
Oh, fucking
No.
love that.
What is that? What is that?
Okay, so there was this show on, I think it was AMC a while back.
AMC. It wasn't AMC. It was.
They
Right?
have admitted that is
Or was it
actually
FX?
not what inspired them.
No, it was the one channel for guys.
Okay, well, whatever.
Like
Regardless of what channel it was on, it was, this like 40-minute show that would air every like day or week, where they would analyze various cultural warriors, their general tactics and whatnot, stuff that they were known to do throughout history. They would take all of those, calculate how they function against a human body, and also versus the various equipment that they like hit them against.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, well, it's similar to Death Battle, except it was something that happened on actual TV, right? And in those, they would they would try out all the different equipment on everything, see how those work, and apply some sort of logic to the general tactics of how certain equipments were used, like say flashbangs and such, and poisons, and then they would run that through like a simulation calculator that would just run through the statistics that they had. And from the percentage, from the overall percentage of successes, failures between the two, how they determine the win, and then they just do something really, something relatively, unique or flashy to represent that on screen, right?
Yeah, I remember
basically all Death Battle is doing also, except that they're using pop culture characters.
And they're using physical things instead of... They're able to test it out themselves.
Yeah. Not only that, but they also ran the battles 1,000 times, so that way they get the proper results.
Are they actually?
Death Battle did that too, but they did not could not use anything physical.
No, I'm talking about Deadliest Warrior. They did the.
Oh yeah.
Which was actually more accurate.